Spike planted.
Alrighty, everybody, we are back and at it. Sorry for the pickles. We make it happen though, and as we say, making it happen. Yeah, retake mid, doing their deed as well as best they can, but it looks like with numbers, they fall just as quickly. So Sakura White are on the board here, leading 6-4, just 2 away before the half. Again, for those that are sticking with us and by our side, it seems like nothing wants to cooperate today, including the internet itself and every bit of software that could possibly run on it. So F's in chat for what is the streaming environment, but alas, we make it happen. And we're good to go. So, Mick, after that pickle, we're just about ready to approach the half. Thoughts and opinions of how this has unfolded so far. And it's good to see Sakura White actually has some footing back, and they're leading by 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the biggest point I was going to go ahead and mention was Sakura White really just catching back up, and especially in the standing that they have. I mean, they were on defense. They got themselves 3 ultimates to be working with, 2 of those being fairly defensive ultimates with that Cosmic Divide, with the shutdown, and with so many weaponry to really be working into, especially with the backup of the safety net that some of these players have. They're really just sitting comfy right now, and that's the best scenario they can really be sitting in if they're trying to get themselves a lead and already having that guaranteed half, sitting at 6 rounds and getting themselves a little bit of a stall here. They're going to have a KJ shutdown going against them this time around, and a Cosmic Divide to double down as well, and maybe some shots to come through if they can get themselves onto the side.
Look at Nightmare, they're flexing, they're lining up that amazing set of shock darts and a kill thus far. Lug coming around. This is a big problem as that Odin is still reloading. Derek is going to clap Nightmare to the face. Hydro as well for another on the board, and just like that, Sakura White are trembling at the knees as they fall. Boon, though, on a big flank coming around from middle, is able to get Hydro, and that's the defender lockdown now. And that's way deep in sight, so for the side of Sakura White to get in, not going to be the easiest walk in the park.
Oh, and that lockdown being destroyed. That's a real bummer when you're trying to get a little bit of intel, but it doesn't matter when you find the shots. Get the kills, a 1v2. Luckily for the side of Derek to go ahead and close it out, but he's going to be the first one to die. The last one to die for the team of all retake mid as we see Sakura White continuing right where they left off, saying, you know what, we're going to get another round. We're going to get ourselves another buy in the next one, and we're going to run away with this as much as we can.
Absolutely, and yeah, with that note, Sakura White looking really good and healthy all across the board. That lockdown was really a really good icing on the cake as well, so happy to see that that's getting used as we are teetering towards that half switch. Meanwhile, talking about a half switch and what's left on the board, still a Cosmic Divide and Blade Storm is available for the side of Sakura White, albeit they do have the guns to boot. On the attacker side, retake mid, nothing too crazy, minus a Hunter's Fury here, so they're gonna have to really scrape something together, and 5 for them would be optimal, but it's been a rough road as they've lost 4 sequential. So talk about giving us some footing. We didn't get to see a couple of the rounds, which is a tricky way to kind of put 1 and 1 together, but if you want to say something and summarize it, looks like retakes mid's tricks are really kind of fading. They're not as sharp as they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, everything, all the tricks up their sleeve, as you said, kind of really just being exposed. I mean, I'm like a magician being called out on social media. There's just not too much you can do about it. You just got to go ahead and roll with the flow as much as you can and develop some new ones at the end of the day. And we see retake now being in the spotlight. It's kind of hard to develop those tricks in the shoes you're sitting in when you're already behind this round, being the last round of the half. You don't have much time to adapt. You really have to get yourself into here. You got to find a way to go ahead and rotate around and get onto this site, because a very direct approach can be coming through with these seekers. We're going to see Isaac being the first one on the site, the first one to fall from Katashio, as we see Sakura White holding out.
Amazing drive. They're holding onto site, denying one of the critical players, Isaac, and with that Katashio, my goodness. Hello, Katashio. Making that generator dance look so simple. A little waltz salsa, cha-cha back and forth, and he's able to pick up a 4K that round. So yeah, that's some style points there for Sakura White. 8-4, they close it out.
Yeah, that's a great half here for Sakura White to be going ahead and following through with, because, I mean, you see them. I mean, that's all I can really just develop in terms of storylines for these guys. They just go ahead, get on top, and they roll when they get it. It's a little bit of struggle bus to go ahead and get into those stages, to be rolling with the punches, really get yourself in that state of flow. But once they get there, they just run away with it. And I feel like this is a stall retake mid really needed to get back in this game. They're now on the opposite side of the field. It's a mirror matchup at the end of the day. But my concern is Isaac, being the fragger that he is and being so aggressive to get onto sites. How is that going to do on the opposite side of the field when he's on the other edge? Because, I mean, we've talked about aggression being great for defense, but can you do it all alone and in such an impactful way?
Talk about being all alone. This is kind of a tricky situation now for Derek. He's a lonesome wolf on sidewalk, but a lot of action towards B mid or B main. And with that, they're falling away. Happy to see that the change up is coming from retake mid. They're playing that KJ towards that B site. And as that progression continues to take place and a lot more utility shows up, that'll be a nice change of pace for us to see from a defender aspect. But after that early presence, leaving 2 people behind at B, the attacker's now kind of shaking it up, going right towards A. But there's a, ooh, wait a minute. Look on the mini map here. You have a bit of an aggressive setup from Sky and Astra. I believe there's also a one-way and a secondary star waiting intently. And everyone's like, yeah, this ain't fun. We're gonna go back. Off we go here, Mick. I just eject.
Yeah, they just need to make up their minds, because I feel like a push definitely could have been a move, so long as you just found the teammates there in the middle of the map to go ahead and create the crossover, because you know KJ's gonna be sitting on that B site and then circumventing through that spawn. If worse comes to worse, but we don't see those trades coming through. We don't see those setups coming out. We just see a little bit more relaxed gunplay and a rotation going towards this B side as we see the trades, the shots, the fires, the kills, everything being drawn out right now as the spike is going down as well. Now, with 19 seconds left on the board, the spike now being planted, that resets the timer in a 4v5 retake situation for retake.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Sakura White, I mean, everything going through for them. They're coming in big. Young gets a pick, and that's the commanding lead and push we like to see from the Sakura White veterans here in GLG's Pit of Valor and various competitive events. And look at Young. Yes, do we have an ace on the board? Potentially, and we do. Young, really good job coming in. Massive with that 5-piece combo. And that's near flawless for Sakura White on top of it.
Yeah, great round for them to go ahead and open up this half, because now they're in a forced situation and they are looking at a double-digit checkpoint. I mean, they're only 1 off for that. This is a great way to go ahead and get yourself back into this game. Really just run away with it if you find that, because the bonus to come through after that, especially if you keep Gabesu alive with that full armor and that Phantom, because of all those kills, all those credits accumulated from that ace, you get yourself an entire full buy in the second round to really be running off of, to be running away with, so long as you can find the right pick, shut these guys down, because you see the forces coming out for retake mid as well, and this is not going to be good if they fall short.
No, it's not going to be good whatsoever. And in the name of short, see a bit of presence here from Isaac on that short, watching intently towards top middle. Nothing there, but a huge caboose coming out of A. This is a massive explosion. Sakura White, I mean, yeah, they work as a team and they work as a squad, collapsing so quickly on site. The door is closed. They're nicely situated for a post-plant scenario. Spike is now planted as well. And with that, Sakura White in the driving seat, also 1 body up.
Yeah, so right here, we already got the tank coming through. We got a lot of aggression from Sakura, and it was a great one at that, because you can already see the setups they have coming through. The shots coming out from Churro just being that much better. Even with a shorty in hand, he can still finesse himself a couple kills to get that edge to be playing with for the rest of his team, as they're sitting at a 5v3 with that spike sitting comfy on there.
And talk about comfort here. Still more picks coming out for Churro. He's sitting on 3 picks at this point. More for Nightmare. And Isaac getting absolutely deleted now. It's just Verno, the lonesome wolf, standing by himself, trying to get a pick. But Churro there with the Sheriff on a 4-piece. Looks like it's a Sakura White season as they're lining up these beautiful multi-kills across the board.
Yeah, so I mean, Sakura really, as I said, not only running away with this, they are at a full sprint now. They are like Usain Bolt, it feels, with that torch in hand, running towards the end goal if they can go ahead and get a reach for it. And that's all they're really kind of aiming for right now, because retake, you see the force coming through. If they lose this, not only are they setting up for a free 11, that is a free, I would say, match point after that, because at this stage, it's not just an econ thing. It's not just a firing thing. It's a mentality thing, knowing that you've been shut down this much, this many rounds in a row from a squad on an opposite side of the field, just looking that much more established.
It's exactly the way to summarize it, Mick. I mean, you can see the attackers are just, unified. And when they're getting on a site, they're doing it as 5 or 4 and just collapsing. And what can you do as retake mid? You're completely playing for the hold. You're not even bothering to retake per se. So that's tricky. You got to be careful how you maneuver that. And you can see yet again, they're getting situated for a nice bit of action towards that B, getting shut down actually from Hydro. Meanwhile, the spike is sitting really far outside of A area. So I believe it was more of a fake than anything. Maybe get a pick or 2 if possible. But having lost a body like this, not the best case scenario. Meanwhile, Isaac, I don't think he knows that a jet has weaseled right by him and is actually pushing CT.
Oh, but it doesn't seem to matter as he finds some clean shots on the Foon. Towards CT, we got Churro going for that flank play, and this is the biggest opportunity you could have an entire match. You see Hydra running around with his axe in hand, not knowing there's a player there towards the spawn, but Verno getting the intel, getting the comms, getting the call through to get those shots on. He'll find Churro back there towards that spawn. Soccer White only having 2 players now, and Retake having 4 players for this retake. So their name better live up to it so long as they want to get right back into this game.
And this is the thing, man. I mean, as much as I love little cheeky pushes like that, being a little sneaky, you know, doing whatever, you really lose a lot of positioning or, like, you know, thought process to where people are. Just like you're basically going for the YOLO push and you have no real intel, and that's tough, right? You can see the one comes in and then he gets clapped by Verno earlier on. You saw that round. So yeah, that doesn't work out in their favor, and you can see they actually do pay the price as Retake Mid are able to take this round number 5 and bounce back on the board after a rough couple rounds.
Yeah, so just great plays there for Retake to go and get themselves back into it. And I feel like it was a long time coming. We saw a totally different team on this half so far. We haven't seen as much confidence out of them. We haven't really seen anything because, as you can tell from that scoreboard, I mean, Retake had themselves a great start. They had a little bit of a back and forth, some retaliation to get themselves an edge in that 4-3 lead they had there towards the middle of that first half. But ever since then, Soccer White has just, as I said earlier, ran away with it. And they've almost put it out of reach. But Retake Mid, they're really not trying to retake mid. They're trying to retake this game, retake their entire mental fortitude, because it looks like it's starting to assemble once again, but you don't have all the Infinity Stones quite yet to get the full gauntlet to go ahead and throw on the table and hand a Soccer White.
This is one map to get your Infinity Stones. It seems to be this one, as you saw in map number 1. So with a clawback, there is potential. I'm not dismissing anything just yet. Meanwhile, Soccer White getting posted up for what's looking like a potential B take. I mean, we've seen them work marvelously when they go in numbers, whatever site they choose, and that's not a good way to start off, as Isaac is able to get the one onto Foon at mid. And with that, they're down numbers yet again. So Soccer White got to go back to that old playstyle, I'd say. Great pushes onto A, great pushes onto B, and just do it together as 5, and it seems to work quite well. Isaac here battling with the demons of the Hunter's Fury, going for the jump, and he is safe. And meanwhile, they are collapsing right onto B here, Mick.
They are collapsing. They are collapsing slowly but surely, because you find yourself in a 3v3, an even game to some extent. The Cosmic Divide's still up. The trades and the shots that come through, at least for Katasha to stand out on top before Verna has something to say about it. It's now 2v2. Spike is not down yet, but they're eyeing it, because Retake, they are falling slowly but surely as Lug is going to be the first one, and it all comes down to Verno in this 1v2 scenario, knowing they're both on this side, looking for the right angles, able to find the first one, and the second as well for the 3-piece. We see Retake Mid finding another one, holding Soccer White out for the second round in a row at a 10-round hold.
I mean, that's amazing job there for Verno. I mean, it seems like I've seen Verno as the last more than once. I'd say at least easily one set of hands worth, but that time Verno, happy to see that he came in nice and CL-uch. So with that, my friends, 6 rounds to the name of Retake Mid. Proceeding forward, this is a chance for that rally back that you talked about, Mick, and I think it's well underway, because you got to look at the current situation, how it's looking for the side of Sakura White. They're broke, realistically, after this round. So, you know, you can see they're even going for the half armor right now, not the most optimal situation. Gonna leave them with you know, a couple of pennies and a nickel and a dime here and there. Katashio can't even buy the full, so he's gonna have to dig deep to that half buy as well. And we'll see how it pans out. Round number 7 could be for the side of Retake Mid, at least, could be a determining for the following 1 or 2 to come, actually.
Yeah, so long as they just win this one, because you see Soccer White, they got the setups. They both have a Blaze Storm here. Not on the field just yet for the side of Soccer White. We see Churros still opting for those old rifles in hand. But, I mean, as you said, this is going to be a big one going forward, because with the peak already coming through, knowing a player's towards that spawn, and with the initiative going towards this B side, at least as you can see with the split coming through in mid, you want to make sure to at least get a pick somewhere. And as we can see, Foon looking for that edge, trying to get the trade. Newton's going to make it a little bit too quick out there to get the trades off just yet to hand it over to Foon. He's going to be looking for another one, and he'll find it as Foon gets shut down as well. That's the entire initiative towards middle of the map, completely shut down for the sides of Soccer White. They are now split up, one side and the other, with the spike towards their spawn, with no direction of where to go just yet, when you've got a player who has all those knives still able to be used in the middle. But with some shots to come out towards that tree area, a little bit of initiative there, you just got really a Trojan horse out of the jet right now.
Yeah, gotta be careful here. And coming out for more, Verno is actually hot as can be, on fire, also donating some heals off to teammate Isaac, who is no longer blade stormed up. So back to the drawing board for him with a very light buy. Katashio now has some support from fellow Jet and a spike in hand, but these guys know, they know that they're at A. They're already posted up. They had a quick rotate from the Sova waiting, a Jet and a Sky already present. Choosing to play the retake wouldn't be a bad choice. 13 seconds, they are in the driving seat here.
They're most definitely in the driving seat, but are they driving a little bit too slow? Because, I mean, you got to go ahead and get the spike down. You got to get yourself a lot more to work with. And, I mean, Katashio looking for it, not able to finesse it just yet because Isaac is on the side. He'll find his 4K to kind of give that little cherry on top. As we see Retake Mid getting their 7th here, giving us a run for our money when we thought Sakura White had just taken it out of their grasp.
This is it, man, and you can see that buy going deep there with the half farmer and the full buy in terms of primaries with the Vandal and the Phantom respectfully has now earned them a whopping save. So you can see digging very deep, and this is the point where I'd say, do I really believe in buying the Sheriff? Not so much, Mick. I'd rather them take that economy forward. This is getting tight as it is, and now having to really dig deep with a Sheriff half armor, they gotta get picks here. I mean, this would be a waste of a buy if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's really all it dwindles down to. You got to get yourself some shots. You got to get yourself some kills. And with that Blade Storm, that's your best shot, at least in this round alone, knowing that Churro's been that big, massive playmaker, that MVP so far in the entirety of this team. But when you go ahead and shut down Gabesu, who's been that kind of second-hand man, that's going to be a little bit of a struggle, knowing that you've already kind of have one of your limbs chopped off, trying to get yourself in this retake situation.
Hydro actually fully awakened. Isaac with a galactical pre-fire and swing on to Nightmare. Foon has a response though, that one Sheriff coming in big, so they're able to pull off 2 bodies. Ooh, Foon had a great pre-aim angle as well, but Lug was really expecting that on top of the swing. So with that, yeah, retake mid back on the board for again another one, man. And this gap continues to build, and the pause is coming through. This is where, you know, that save on that Sheriff, you know, that buy for next mentality could be the determining factor, right? This is a big round for the side of Sakura White, because yet again, we're back to almost that drawing board. They turn this, it's 11, goes to save, they lose that, it's 12, and then we're at match point, and that's not a fun place to be.
Yeah, I mean, everything going against the likes of Sakura White right now, but quite honestly, I feel like they still have enough mental fortitude to get back into this, because when you've already created so much breathing room, you've created this time to go ahead and have a couple of rounds of leeway, get the shutdown to come through, knowing that it's not the end of the world. You've reached that double-digit checkpoint first, and by a large margin, albeit. So, I mean, lots of time here. You still have 2 more rounds before retake even consider getting it into a tie game or running away with this, but I feel like this is the right time to pop the timeout, to go ahead and say, all right, look, we need to recollect something here. There's some kind of initiative we're not playing into. We may be a little bit too slow. We're not playing as unified as we used to. There's all kinds of considerations, and I feel like both of those are the biggest ones that I mentioned, because I feel like they haven't been as aggressive. They haven't been playing together. They haven't really been pinching onto a site at the same time simultaneously. Instead, it's been a little bit more chip chop one side than the other, and it really just causes your teammates to fall before you can even engage or trade off of it.
Exactly. I mean, they had a great, you know, early set of steps, right? Like, it's like when the kid gets up to walk, his first couple steps are, wow, magical. And then from there, he falls smack on his face and he's got to relearn what he's doing, his 1s and 2s. And I feel like with Sakura White, it's a bit of the same. They had a great 1-2 step early on with the pistols. And then from there, it's been a tumble fest. And they just haven't found anything strong yet to work with. So getting back into it, I mean, Mick, just a 2-round gap here to close off. And it's coming down to the, you know, uncomfortable position for the side of Sakura White if they can't make something happen.
Yeah, but we see him going ahead and at least trying to start to make something happen, because you see him pick coming through for Churro first. Gabesu being the first one to fall for Sakura White, but with Newton being now on the site, looking for some operator shots, he's going to find 2, looking for a 3rd, but Churro is here on site with a 3K of his own, looking for the 2v2, looking to clutch it out with a tailwind to come out, the shots to come through, and the shots as well to get the kill on Hydro. It's a 1v1. He's set up Foon for a perfect scenario if you exclude the spike being absolutely hostage there in that archway when you got Derek holding it down, having every single angle covered out, but the turret did not see him as he grabbed that spike, so he can make a free rotation towards B as Derek thinks he's completely safe from it all.
Derek now playing the 1 site. I mean, being a lonesome wolf, that's the right decision. Just take it easy. No reason to be making a whole bunch of noise and expose yourself, especially if you have a wild attacker running somewhere near you. So with the plant, Foon is good, and I'll say Churro there really stepping it up. His backpack straps are, you know, double layered, triple layered at that, loaded to the beans with his team in that situation getting a 4K. I believe that's his 2nd of this matchup now. Alarm bot getting Derek. KJ on KJ activity, and see how this works out. This is big round for Derek. He's got to get this swinging. He's got to reload too. He's lit. But Foon contesting, swinging, and comes out on top. So yeah, on his toes, Foon keeping that left finger nicely warmed up and is able to connect. So that's a big one, Mick. 11 rounds. Alas, Sakura White finally puts a full stop to the rally.
And that's a massive round for the likes of Sakura White. They got to get this running again and find some players alive, though, is to really the key to success to work off of it. Because you go ahead, sure, you won yourself a round, but you've only bought yourself another round of guns in terms of economy. You haven't given yourself that safety net that retake mid has to work with right now. And you don't have nearly as many ults, I would say, or even as efficient of ults as they do. You got the Blade Storm to play with. You got the Hunter's Fury in hand. And you also have so much economy in your back pocket that you're not really concerned about the stage of the game. You're just trying to make the most of it and cash in as much as you can. Get aggressive with that money, with that wallet, with that utility. Dude, go ahead and make the investment that gets you back into this game and get a tie one. Meanwhile, Soccer, they are actually struggling. They are right there towards the end goal, but they're running out of so much stamina right now that they got to find that second rally. Otherwise, it could be swept out from under them with retake mid on this timeout.
Wonder what the defenders are conjuring up here right now, trying to put one on one together, right? I mean, we had the attackers call it the last time, and they were able to kind of recalibrate, readjust, and, you know, come out on top after a bit of a hiccup. But for the side of retake mid, like you said, this is a big situation for them, and it's leaning heavily on shutting down Churro. I mean, the man's been on fire, not his first showing, and he's been absolutely dominating, doing a heck of a lot of work for his team. So I'm hoping that this kind of works out. Sakura White can keep steady and true to their, you know, play style, and they do have two great ultimates to actually lend them some site entry. That Cosmic Divide and Lockdown are going to be big to aggress and hopefully shank a site away from retake mid.
Yeah, and we already see them trying to look to go ahead and rob that out from them right now as we see the presence going towards, I would say, this A site, but with no real initiative towards the middle of the map yet. We haven't seen anybody cross that threshold unless you're including Churro there towards the edge on those panels looking for a kill of his own. You have no players towards the middle of the map. You don't really have too much presence there, so you're not going to find any kills. You just create more breathing space. You play that game of push away a little bit more, so get closer to the middle of the map. And as we see a little bit of the duke out go there in the middle, Newton's going to come out on top, giving retake mid the edge they needed.
And this is it now. We're just right back to the drawing board again. We're Sakura White going for the solo, I guess, joust yet again, and they fall. So this is the Sakura White recipe for, I don't want to say failure, but not success, or more difficult success. They got to stick true to what they've been doing. Those solo joust is not the play for me. So now Isaac here watching intently on a bit of a push towards a main. He's the lonesome wolf there, just patiently actually, you know, looking for something. There's a huge party as well towards main here. Divide goes down. Isaac gonna swing off of it. Is able to get the one onto Foon. That is a mega connection for him. He hides in the shroud away from the recon. Here's a spike planting. Comes out Nightmare, domes him in the head though. Denial. Go back. Get away. Other side of that purple wall, please and thank you.
Great way to go ahead and get themselves back into this, because you saw that pick initially from the likes of Isaac. Getting two, creating the initiative you really need to go ahead and work on this round. But with the spike down, knowing all these players are going to be back towards arches, you have this Cosmic Divide in hand if you're lugged. Go ahead and make the most of it, or find yourself a kill if you can. But with another Hunter's Fury coming through, an absolute crosswalk of lightsabers here on the field, back and forth. The one standing on top right now is going to be Derek on that bomb, able to get the defuse down because there's nowhere to be found. It's Nightmare in the middle of the map, just opting to save at the end. Still running away with the lead, but it closing surely more so as time goes on.
Darn, that's a situation and a half. You're watching the replay of Isaac here with this nice swing. The 1-2-3 ends up connecting onto Foon's dome. That cheeky push through the purple wall didn't work out for him, but yeah, that long distance play on that retake or post plant hold, going for that deep Hunter's Fury and being so far with that door closed, not the best case scenario. So tough now. Retake mid to get their 9th, and I think that timeout seemed to have some sort of good mojo to it.
Yeah, if we're talking about timeouts, we got a little bit of a technical timeout coming through right now, but that in itself, I think it's kind of well deserved for both these sides because they've already both invested their timeouts, and I feel like it will ever happen. It's not something you really want, but I feel like it's quite honestly, as weird as it sounds, something both these teams need. Because we see Sakura White kind of slowing down. I haven't really seen the gas refill just yet. They're really just running on fumes. And as I said earlier, when they get comfortable, like they did in that second half of the first half, that's a little bit of contradictory right there. They absolutely ran away with it. They were feeling themselves. They were just running off of that into that second half and just getting that initiative, getting themselves that lead they needed. But like 2-3 rounds after that, you're like, all right, things are looking a little sketchy here. And then you see retake just coming back. And it's like the boogeyman, that case. You turn around, the monster that was miles behind you is now that much closer. It's a little bit shocking. You got to figure out what happened and when did we slow down and how can we regain that speed again?
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's honestly like a baton race, right? It's like a long distance haul, right? You need your teammates, and you're passing that baton 1-4 to the next, and you're running those laps around the track, and the opposing team is like they're behind by 2 batons, and all of a sudden now they're catching up. They're on your rear, and what do you do? And that's tough to come back from, right? We saw that in map number 1 as that they start to pick up momentum and steam, mentality, and overall just the how can I say. The vibes kind of take over you. So I don't know, man, as retake proceeds, if they can continue ahead, that's great. But if there's one thing that I could give advice to soccer at this point, is stop with these 1v1 duels. Like, it's not worked out. Every 0 out of the whatever times this happened, I seen a really good, robust resolution from those 1v1s, that confidence. It's not even like a commanding peak with an op for a one and done and a dash away. It's just been like straight up joust uncontested. So Sakura got to put a stop to that, work together as 5 as they have been, and then go back to the drawing board. And if they want to work it in the sense of sticking true to I guess a commanding A or commanding B, I'm good with that. Don't split a site, but just do something that's 5. That's been good. So here we go one more time. And you can see retake mid getting aggressive themselves. Churro is in the front. Isaac swinging 1, dashing 8 HP and a dream. And this is a problem. Does he have the angle lined up though in these smokes?
Well, you got a Vandal, and you got 2 kills to be playing off of as well. Right back into your teammate's NATO swarm, but quite honestly, not that big a deal. You have yourself all those kills, you've made the match as even as you can, and it's a 2v2 scenario with retake mid having more health to be playing off of, and the Sky's still alive, and an ultimate still in hand so long as it gets opted to be used. But Derek making the difference where it matters, getting that kill with the Odin, knocking down the player with more health. The Sakura is in a last-ditch scenario to get right back into this because Nightmare a little bit locked up, looking for the rotations, looking for a spot to get down, and we see Retake just playing it well, sitting in the middle of the map, listening for that spike, knowing it's on the A site, and knowing to put that shutdown down to say, all right, let's go ahead and see if we can get themselves another one to close off.
Ahead.
With that, I mean, yet again, this is Nightmare jousting it in a 1 versus 2 scenario. He is locked down too. Oh no, not like this. Are they gonna knife the poor guy?
I think they are.
Oh no, the poor cracked egg. And on top of it, they crack Nightmare's skull dead open over that. So yeah, tough way to end it. 11-10, man. And this is it. We continue forward. Watching this replay of Isaac, I mean, this is a galactical spray transfer here.
Oh, amazing. I mean, you just see the first one, those cloud bursts come down at the perfect time, right next to each other. The first one, the second one, the transfer being just absolutely perfect. I mean, so you consider RNG a lot in terms of the spray on this game, but sometimes it looks so clean when you know it really where all that initiative's going towards, or the kick is really going, and it's so nice to watch. But we don't get too many opportunities like that, and we also don't get too many opportunities to see comebacks like this, because one thing we gotta consider, retake mid now only 1 round off from making this a tie game. We see Soccer White with the buys again. We see themselves with a shutdown coming through to go ahead and create a little bit of a stall on this A side, and a shot to open it up as we see the first man advantage they've had in a while.
Here we go with that. Is Isaac up in heaven? Churro gonna deny him, and that's a huge pick, getting that backpack out of the equation. Foon getting Hydro out, and this is the swing one after another from retake, and they're just falling to the wrath of Sakura White, falling to the safety of the purple wall of, oh, love it. It's like that little safe haven, that comfort spot. Ooh, Derek though. Odin goes burr through the wall. Churro now gotta be careful. Lots of bullets still available, but they're down so many numbers, and it's a 1v4 for Derek. If he can even survive, I'll give it to him. Odin, yeah, not a bad takeaway though.
It's definitely not, but I feel like the same maybe coming through retake. Not really too concerned about it because there's not too much Derek can do right here. I mean, not only just the gunpowder, that's really just massive, but you don't have too much mobility off of this. You really can't maneuver yourself around a site, play too much. You can get yourself 1 more kill on the Churro as a little bit of a compensation, but there's not too much else to it. We see Sakura finally get themselves to that match point they've been looking for so long. And then the exact experimentation we've been mentioning. Go ahead, stop looking behind you. Stop worrying about the team that is coming up behind you. Just keep looking ahead and just make sure you can get there as fast as possible. And with that finish line now only 1 round away, Soccer White winning the last one and having a little bit of a safety net in terms of those buys with 3 of the players surviving, I feel like this may be it.
This, I mean, don't say anything until the fat lady sings. You know, how could you, man? Like, yeah, I mean, let's not get too overzealous. This can get spicy pretty quickly. 2 blinks of an eye, and yeah, Katashio is going to be the one to give you some more hope to your good vibes across the board. As now Sakura White in the driving seat. Seekers are going out deep here as well. The retake from retake mid is imminent. With that, nothing too major happening. Katashio onto Isaac. Denial. Dome City across the board for them, and that's it, man. Spike planted. 5v3. Maybe you're right, but we'll see here what the team can do on the retake. 3 in heaven, though, is a party for sure.
Most definitely is. You see a little bit of a groupie going on here, but not enough for the likes of Churro to go ahead and be shutting down because the shots are coming through. It's a 4v2, and we got the Seekers to come out, creating a little bit of intelligence, creating some breathing room as well, but with everything happening a little bit too quickly, Derek gets shot down, creating a close to this game. Sakura White ending it out 13-10.
Beautiful. And with that, I mean, Mick, let's talk about it quickly here before we send it off. We have so many more games lined up. So again, desk people that are watching, we do apologize if it's quick and frank, but all things said and done, looks like when Sakura White stuck to their recipe, it worked out wondrously for them. So I applaud them for going back to their roots. And again, just going as a squad, commanding their way into a site, W Kia plenty. If they want to take away one thing from this match, it's that they do well as a group. And that's what they should stick to, is their roots.
Yeah, I'm most definitely with you. I mean, you look at the kill collection, everything coming out for him. I mean, look at Nightmare. He may have not found himself that many kills, and he was kind of isolated from his team on the scoreboard being 2 apart, but he found so many assists that he made that differential when it mattered. I mean, that's what you should do as a solo player. If you can't find every single kill, that's okay. There are other ways to be useful. He is literally the one who has that character trait in game and has that voice line to say there are other ways to be useful, and Nightmare making the most of that when he can't really step up and get every single kill he wants. But regardless of that, you see the rest of the team being towards the top, everybody making do. Of course, the one who's always and literally at the top was going to be Isaac that game, really being the one who had that backpack on for most of the match. But there's only so much you can do as a Jet, because at the end of the day, you don't have the utility to really carry a game. I mean, you can get a couple rounds, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'd say so. And one thing that you guys can do for us, though, is please take this opportunity to check out the socials as always. For those that are part of the GLG Country Club membership, you guys already have early sign-up access to next week's Pit of Valor. For those that don't have it, get on that tip, please, and thank you. $10 for your entire team. One of you has to hold it. Y'all get free entry, or I could say free entry to paid events, and also priority seating and sign up as well for all the goodies. If you do want to compete in these weekly tournaments, this week Hyperspace Dark is backing us and keeping it Rizzles, sponsoring the event. And if you guys are interested in sponsoring a Pit of Valor or know someone who may be, please be sure to reach out to our team via Twitter. That would be amazing. And with that, I think, Mick, we're going to send everybody off to a quick and snappy break because we got a lot more to come and a quick schedule to fill. So off we go. Back to you guys momentarily.
and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GLG's Pit of Valor. We are rolling into round number 4 here tonight, really getting down to the nitty and gritty, finding all of our best players that have come to assemble and try to take home the crown. I am Becky Bear, joined by the beautiful as ever Strive. I'm not pointing the right direction. Most of the time I'm wrong, so I had to get back into being wrong. But anyway, how you doing, Strive? How you feeling? How's your night going?
Not too shabby. Getting into it again, it's going to be going to the comfortable pick of Ascent. I want to make a comment though, like pointing on cam to whichever side you're pointing on is just about as like 50-50 as putting a USB into a plug. Like,
it's exactly like that. It is exactly
50%
like that.
chance to get it right, and 99% of the time you get it wrong. So that's
even if you get it right, sometimes it still just doesn't work. Half the time I try to put a USB in the right way, and I have to flip it 3 times. Hit us up in chat if you do that same thing, because I know we all do it. That's just a part of USBs. But we will be watching the side of Aspire versus Vanquish Esports tonight on the map of Ascent, our 4th Ascent of the day. Our players really into the mood of ascending, as I am as well, so I'm excited to see what our players bring. But it looks like we might be seeing a lot of the same, this kind of just very normal, very cut and dry. Jet, Sky, Silva, Killjoy, Astra, those are all just the greatest agents that you could be picking right now. They're all very strong in a good place, especially on the map of Ascent. How you feeling about that?
I mean, hey, it seems like like I told Mick in the last one, and I think you might agree, like you said also, and you might have, gently pointed at it. It's kind of been solidified, right? Ascent has found its comfortable agent selections. It locks in basically instantly, so it tells me we're not looking for too much variety, and this composition works well. And we saw in the previous matchup, yeah, it works pretty damn well considering how even things were for the most part. And they do offer a lot of utility and kit across the board. So yeah, I'm not shocked, and at the same time, happy to see it, because with mirror matchups, as well as I know it lends itself to good competition.
Yeah, we both really like that. All right, getting down into it, we will be seeing yet another mirror match on Ascent. And even in the first match that me and Sir Mickey cast earlier in the day, even though one of these teams started off with a strong 6-0 lead, leading 10-2 at the to a half, they were still able to bring it to like an 8-13 before going down. So anything can happen, especially on a map like this. Maybe you have a plan for attack, you don't really have a plan for defense, or one team is really good at coming up with a plan for attack that kind of preys on your defensive strategy. So it's going to be very interesting to see what each of these teams that we've both seen time and time again here on the Pit of Valor, Vanquish and Aspire both, see exactly what they bring to the table and what's new this week on the plate.
And let's see. Yeah, this is where I see a lot of familiar names. Right away, I see a Wild Polkin there in the mix, and that's something that rings a bell for me. So I'm looking forward to it. And all things said and done, this is Pit of Valor Wednesdays. We see teams from all sides of the planet show up to the event, and by all sides, I mean mostly North America. But you know what I'm saying. New faces, and it seems like with that comes new strats as well, as we're going nice and deep. Quickly down middle here. Bit of a roundabout with the drone and Aspire. Sync. Careful, Sync. Do you know there's one there? Oh! Polkin deleted more from mid though. They got it on lock, Becky, so bravo to them holding off that push from Sync.
So yeah, Sync went a little deep there, was able to get a kill for it, but ultimately gets taken down, and another member of Aspire also falls. So we're now in a 3v4 situation here. Stars going down, trying to make sure that there is as little vision as possible, get some nice little choke points for the rest of the team, and Villy finding some nice kills along with Dens as a result of it.
2v2, tapping away Villy.
Ooh.
Two lit members. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, sometimes you just stare at the person who just went beast mode.
Big plays, big brain. I see the question mark in chat as well in the corner there behind that GLG logo. So yeah, that's one of those moments. Question marks in chat all across the board. With that, first round goes to Aspire. Nice retake, nicely done. And Vanquish had a good bit of flanking activity there coming. And Sync, I like the push as well, what he was able to do, and he fell. If he had actually gotten that one pick and fallen back, like in terms of value, that would have been the much better choice. So falling early, best recipe. But Dens actually has a nice Ares too, which should lend itself nicely to the paper mache walls at B site.
Indeed, the paper mache walls. The baby Odin, Ares gonna be able to do a little bit of damage there, but it doesn't look like many of the members of Vanquish want to have any part of that. Very far away, and we see the Ares reload and jump away pretty quick on deciding that nobody's there.
With this one-way situation, not necessarily a one-way, but a good blockade of a smoke towards this long ace area. Top is just bouncing around. Ooh.
Oh,
Mikey. He was in that like shoe fly don't bother me post, sending his utility out and ended up being visible. So he gets picked off. Lots here in Cubby for top. He's got Axie up top as well. One of the Cubby, that is Ripper. Gotta be careful up high and down below Polkan. A nice united swing from the attackers. That's a free pick on top.
yeah, very nice pick to get back that hand shot from the Marshall onto Sky there, which was a little unfortunate. It's one of those shots that you get hit by and you're like, oh, if I just had armor, that wouldn't have been the same. Hand ripped off. Column Luke Skywalker. And now we're just kind of making some slow moves. Slow. Trying to decide exactly where they have priority to be able to move onto either one of these sites. Now rejoined with the team, but Villy is holding this nice angle here.
Oh, come on.
Ooh, Villy making some nice kills here.
Villy looking good on short, holding steady, peeking for the 1, 2, and 3, and they just kind of gently walked into his crosshair. He kind of peeked in beautifully. So that's just finesse. Round number 2 with big guns tends to work that way on Ascent, but proceeding into round number 3 now, this is an opportunity for redemption for Vanquish as they're purchasing the big guns and the armor across the board.
Turret out.
Big guns and armor indeed, but Villy and Sync gonna hold on to Spectre and Marshall, but still have a lot of kills and had some nice shots to show for it. So I think if they continue to do what they've done in these previous rounds and hold these angles and use some of the distance to their advantage, or in some situations close angles to their advantage, I think that they'll be able to still come out of this round quite nicely.
Sync now just having a good old time trying to avoid all kinds of utility pinned in the corner of Short, and he gets away. So back to the drawing board with a Marshall for him, posted up. A lot of utility posted up from that KJ as well on B. So got to be careful in these early rounds. That utility can do a lot of damage when you can't deal much at all. Bomb, though, is looking intense. Billy, what in the name of drive-by with that Spectre? Ripper, though, with the bigger gun on that Vandal, is able to respond right back to a 4 versus 4. Dart's getting ready for Maxi and the rest of the gang. Market pinch is on the boards, but 50 on the clock and nothing really happening, actually, from the attackers.
Yeah, kind of split across the map right now. 2 in mid, 2 on that B side garage, and one of the ones mid gets picked off, but Dadston able to get a nice little trade there. Kind of still continuing to watch this mid side while the other 2 are posturing at the entry of B here. Ooh, Den's gonna sit in the back of Boathouse. If you're gonna push onto this site, I'm gonna hold a deep corner and see if I can just catch somebody off guard as Polkin gets top off guard. Oh,
Den's, though, pinned, getting pushed on. Axie knows he's there. Jousting, is the Ares better? It is not. The Vandal just that much swifter in picking up momentum. With that, they got the plant down, and just in the nick of time with about 8 points something on the clock. Now, Sync. Does he know? Eating a shock dart, getting swung on the side. Polkan, the bigger brain. He gets away 5 HP, and with that, yeah, the big guns on round 3. Vanquish come out on top.
2-1, and now gonna start to shake it up. But this is the round that we all wait for. Pretty even buys across the board. A few members of Vanquish a little either light on guns or light on armor there. Villy kind of deciding, but does look like Villy has enough credits to buy whatever their heart desires, and top with a little bit of light armor, but this is going to be one of the most even big gun rounds that we've seen so far.
This is big, though, with the immense early presence towards this long A. Question is, are the defenders interested in swinging? Aspire so far, no. Ripper hold tight angle with a judge, and the gavel hits. Beautiful job there, holding the swing. Villy and top fall to the wrath of Ripper, and with that, they dash right into A side, close that door, find some comfort on this A side of the map, and the retake coming in big. The op not really interested in contesting on the side of Jet. That's a big investment, so Aspire got to be careful how they want to work this. Losing an op on round number 4, not the greatest time.
certainly not the greatest time at all. Sync gonna continue to hold this angle, see if anyone makes an aggressive peek on the side of Vanquish, but it doesn't look like we will be seeing anyone do that. Waiting for Dens to come along and see if Aspire is going to make this push for a retake.
Den's coming out of door. It is wide open. Sync into the connection they want, and that's an opportunity to retake Dadston, though, and Ripper. Yeah, complete denial, and they actually lose that op that Sync had. Alvar gonna be careful.
Removed.
Nice connection to the dome of Dadston, but he gets away. 12 hit points and a dream, and no chance of hitting on the spike, but at least we got the save, and they're on the opposing end of the map.
Yeah, a little bit of a save, and Ripper ends up going down to that bomb, so that's going to be a little bit of a thorn in the side of the econ for the side of Vanquish. But ultimately, being in a 2v2 situation, you can't be too upset, especially when some of these bigger wins are happening on your side of the board. So I think that Vanquish was a little maybe rough in those pistol rounds, but is starting to really fill into their shoes.
Absolutely, and we go back right to that 2-2 scenario that we love to see on Ascent. It's been the trend, at least for tonight, I believe. And going back to the drawing board in terms of ultimates too, yeah, the Christmas tree is lit with 3. The divide and the blaze storm and lockdown on attacker is a great trio combination. That's what goes back to that meta conversation, right? The ultimates too just works so well on this map, and a lot of spamming through the paper mache walls actually does a good amount of tagging there to Datsun. Meanwhile, Sync and everyone in between, a sandwich of frags. Alvar with 2 as well, and that's just right back to a 3v2. With a minute 20 on the clock, Villy, the man on short, is just absolutely dominating. And with that, it's just down to Ripper, a Blade Storm and a Dream.
A dream is not enough for Alvar to get that headshot, taking down Ripper, bringing Aspire ahead to 3 points to 2. Villy and Alvar both in that round doing a tremendous job of just catching every single one of the members of Vanquish out there. Den's also with some nice little noticed where Dadston was at the start of that round and made some nice little shots through the wall, as you mentioned. And I just want to highlight that because that's one of those situations where you see somebody go to a little corner and then you just
Ahead.
Because these thin walls get to just take advantage of an interesting angle that somebody like Dadston is trying to hold and trying to get that recon bolt, and now having to run for his life away from those shock darts as Top finds a kill onto Polkin.
And meanwhile, it's a frag fiesta for the side of Aspire as they're yet again in the driving seat. Still, Seekers and Cosmic Divide is available to retake or defend. Ripper clearing out what he can, but Top outplays him there with the well-placed headshot. It's just down to Axie now, yet again in the back of the bus, just sitting patiently, waiting for the storm to pass. He's got to recover somehow a spike that's in mid. You got a Polkin and Sova looking dead nuts at that, and a Sky sitting at A, just having a good old time at the booth. So, trying to make any kind of grounds in 48 seconds, not the most likely scenario.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting play. I mean, it makes sense to me that you would want to go in and try to get a kill. Not picking up the Vandal to try and get a kill with seems interesting to me, though potentially was going to use that utility and try to go through the walls with the Ares. But ultimately, on that hunt to try and find a kill, it gets taken down. And Aspire pushes forward 4-2. What do you think Vanquish needs to be changing up about how they're doing this attacking side to be able to break through the walls that Aspire's built up?
They got to go for that good old Sakura White mentality. Just go for it. Like W key, there's 5. Use those ultimates that you've recruited, now 4 on the board, and just get it done, right? That's what it comes down to in a sense. 1v1 joust uncontested without a trade, it's not the situation you want to be in. And that dart 2 on Ripper, definitely not the best way to start things off. Second one coming through, he's good. That's the attacker lockdown in a very default position. And considering that Sova has used the double shock dart, clearing that out, not possible. And the divide here is going to be the aisleway in or the aisleway to test depending on how it pans out. But look at the utility here, Becky. They're just gonna have to your way. Wait, hold on a second. Seeker and everything? Oh, it's a party now.
Oh, Sync has to make a mad dash to get out of there before getting concussed by Seekers, as Alvar and Villy just run in and take down members of Vanquish so quickly. Wow. Okay. That happened at a breakneck speed.
Yeah, and talk about breakneck speed. That's the way you want to do it, right? do it, but win the round, ideally here, Becky. I'm just saying, on the attacker side, you want to go quick, fast, and with fierceness. But yeah, that Cosmic Divide was a problem, a mega problem. The Seekers went through, and with Seekers going through, yeah, it connects onto someone or something, gives you info, but you're not swinging through a Cosmic Divide. So what does that really earn you here? But happy to see that Sync is back on that op too. And we'll say for Aspire, those early picks, especially towards short, for example, are just marvelous. And if we can see that continue to come out, I'm expecting big things for the side of Aspire. But look at top here, yeah, big things. Transfer for the 1-2. Polka denies. Sync just asserting tons of dominance. Alvar at mid onto Mikey. Dadston, hello?
I mean, it's a nice sheriff kill, and it's a nice way to at least try to push onto site, but you gotta just be a little bit frantic after you just watched all of your teammates die on the other side of the map, and you don't even have the spike. That's just gotta be a rough spot if you're Dadston.
Tough, and this is it. Aspire just pulling away. I mean, just straight pedal to the metal all the way through, and they're gonna have to do some sort of adaptation here sooner than later. No timeouts coming out just yet, which begs the question: what is Vanquish really interested in doing? What's their end game plan? If we look at the board and what's been working for them, Villi on short has been monstrous, 12-2. Alvar has been doing the deed at B day in and day out. Sync is just upping his brains out and getting aggressive, being flexible. One time he's A, one time he's mid, one time he's B, and it's a good bit of mobility from everyone. And obviously the scoreboard does speak to that with that 6-2.
Exactly. And now we're gonna see a little bit of a split. Two members. Going towards B side, two members going towards the A site, potentially trying to do a little bit of a split, maybe try and, my webcam's doing all sorts of fun things, very exciting, internets and everything that is going for everybody, just having a great time tonight. We saw two members kind of trying to go towards the A site, two members trying to go towards the B site, and then maybe kind of the DC that was happening is keeping them from really committing one way or the other. But I do think that trying to do a little bit of a distraction, one side play a really safe distraction, try to pull apart or get Aspire to really commit to one side or do some rotations, catch on rotations, is going to be something that we haven't seen them try to do yet that could start to bode well for them, or at least be something worth trying, because right now what they're doing isn't working.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that's it, right? You can try. That's all you can do. But obviously, rounds are running in deep. We don't have too much breathing room left for us. And the question remains, is that going to work as a strat? Like, I'll say Sakura White tried to do some funny stuff before too, right? Especially on that attack side. Work a slow pick, a little bit of a sprinkle at mid, a sprinkle at A, a sprinkle at B, and then in the end, it just didn't work. And this, kit and the way that these agents are selected lend itself well to discovery of the map without really doing much of anything. So now you can see just full control. Pole candle. Okay, that's the response you'd like to see. Just outshoot them.
Sync also saying outshoot them has maybe an idea where this Sova is, but doesn't exactly know.
Spike down mid. Enemy remaining.
What way is up and what direction is forward? It's that W key. Let's get in there. If you're gonna make a play, you gotta make it soon. You can't let Aspire collapse on you again.
I dropped the
Let's
spike.
see, they're down numbers again, like you said, 3 members. They do have a divide and a Hunter's Fury, so from a post-plant perspective, it could work out well. Top here, not even just jiggle peeking or like, fake peeking, just walks out and walks away. Forward and back, full candle at mid. He's contributing, doing what he can do. And jumps forward, crosshair placement is just that much better. And that's the beauty of Aspire, man. When they go in numbers and they connect on all those shots.
Destroyed.
Gadsden letting the turret take the fall with this Vandal scoping in, trying to find somebody.
Left.
The bomb, though, not in the hands of Gadsden, and going forward, trying to get some action against that op, but Dens with the collapse and the 3K.
Last
holds
round
Aspire
before
to
the
9-2, and we're 1 round before the swap. We're taking a little bit of timeout. Dens calling it. Hopefully, oh, the defenders are calling it. So Aspire taking this moment, maybe doing it in place of a tech pause. I don't think that they need to be taking this time out, as they're doing quite well in this game. They're in a commanding position. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But potentially talking about exactly what their plan is going in onto the attacker side and using this extra timeout time to talk about that.
That or they just want to slice their pizza. So, I'm more on the side of pizza. They're doing amazingly. 9-3, not a bad time to, or 9-2 rather, not a bad time to get a, it tastes like Kit Kat bar. But 18 seconds getting back in. It's the last chance for Vanquish to try and get that 3rd round. Question remains, what do they have in the tank? It's been an Aspire